adventurers! Have you ever looked up at the sky and seen an aeroplane zooming past? It looks like a giant metal bird, doesn't it? Well, an aeroplane is a very special flying machine. It has wings, just like a bird, and powerful engines that push it through the air. These incredible machines can carry people, parcels, and all sorts of things all around the world in just a few hours. It's like having a super fast travel potion. For thousands of years, people could only dream of flying. They would watch birds soar high above them and wish they could do the same. Today, we can hop on a plane and fly almost anywhere we want. Isn't that just brilliant? So, what exactly is an aeroplane? Think of it as a clever combination of parts all working together. It has a long body called the fuselage, which is where the passengers and pilots sit. Then it has two big wings on the sides, which are super important for keeping it up in the air. At the back, you'll find the tail, which helps the pilot steer the plane left and right and up and down. And of course, there are the engines. These are like the plane's muscles, giving it the power to move forward really, really fast. All these parts have to be perfectly designed to make the magic of flight happen. Long before the first aeroplane was even a twinkle in someone's eye, humans were dreaming of taking to the skies. They told stories about flying heroes and drew pictures of people with wings. They tried to understand how birds did it, studying their feathers and how they flapped their wings. Some of the very first flying inventions were kites, which people in China flew thousands of years ago. Then, much later, clever inventors in France created hot air balloons. These were giant, colorful bags filled with hot air that could float up, and away, carrying people in a basket underneath. It was the first time people had ever really floated in the sky. Even with balloons, people still wanted more control. They wanted to be able to steer and fly wherever they chose, not just where the wind blew them. This led to experiments with gliders. A glider is a bit like an aeroplane, but without an engine. Early pioneers like Otto Lilienthal built amazing gliders that looked like giant bat wings. He would run off the top of a hill and glide gracefully through the air, learning all about how wings work and how to control his flight. These brave glider pilots were the first real test pilots, and everything they learned helped to pave the way for the very first proper aeroplane. So, who finally cracked the code and invented the first successful aeroplane? It was two brilliant brothers from America named Orville and Wilbur Wright. The Wright brothers were not scientists or rich inventors. They owned a bicycle shop. But they were incredibly curious and fantastic problem solvers. They spent years watching birds, flying kites, and building gliders. They realized that just having wings wasn't enough. You needed to be able to control the aeroplane, to twist and turn its wings just like a bird does to stay balanced. They spent so much time testing and retesting their ideas, never giving up even when things went wrong. The Wright brothers built their special aeroplane and called it the Wright Flyer. It was made of wood and fabric, and it had two sets of wings, one on top of the other. It also had a small engine that they had built themselves in their bicycle shop. Their big moment came on a cold, windy day on the 17th of December in 1903. It was at a place called Kitty Hawk in North Carolina, which was perfect because of its strong, steady winds. They tossed a coin to see who would fly first, and Orville won. He lay down on the lower wing, started the engine, and the aeroplane began to move along a wooden track. Then, something incredible happened. The Wright Flyer lifted off the ground. For 12 whole seconds, Orville flew through the air before landing safely back on the sand. It might not sound like a long time, but it was a world-changing moment. It was the very first time a machine that was heavier than air had flown with a pilot and under its own power. They took turns flying a few more times that day, with Wilbur managing the longest flight, which lasted for 59 seconds. They had done it. They had proved that powered, controlled flight was possible for humans. The importance of that first flight was massive. It was like opening a door to a brand new world. Before the Wright brothers, flying was just a dream or a fantasy. After their flight, it became a real possibility. News of their success spread around the world, and soon, other inventors and engineers started building their own aeroplanes. The Wright brothers' hard work and clever ideas started a revolution in travel and technology. Their little 12-second flight was the tiny first step that would eventually lead to giant jumbo jets crossing oceans, and even spaceships flying to the moon. It all started with two brothers, a bicycle shop, and a very big dream. The journey of the aeroplane from that first short hop to the amazing jets we see today is a super exciting story. After the Wright brothers' success in 1903, things started to happen very quickly. In the early 1900s, brave pilots called aviators flew in rickety planes made of wood and cloth, setting new records for speed and distance. A French pilot named Louis Blériot was the first person to fly across the English Channel in 1909. Soon, planes were used to deliver mail, which was much faster than using a train or a boat. Aeroplanes became stronger, faster, and more reliable with each passing year, changing from fragile experiments into useful machines. During the First World War, between 1914 and 1918, aeroplanes changed a lot. They were developed for military use, and engineers learned how to make them fly higher and faster than ever before. After the war, this new technology was used to start the first airlines for passengers. Imagine being one of the first people to buy a ticket to fly. The planes were often noisy and bumpy, but it was an incredible adventure. Big passenger planes started to be built in the 1930s, like the Douglas DC-3, which made flying much more comfortable and popular. It was the beginning of air travel as we know it. The next big leap forward was the invention of the jet engine. Instead of using propellers to pull the plane through the air, jet engines pushed it forward with a powerful blast of hot gas. This made airplanes incredibly fast. The first jet aircraft flew during the Second World War. By the 1950s, huge jet airliners like the Boeing 707 were flying passengers across the Atlantic Ocean in just a few hours. This was the start of the jet age. Flying became the quickest way to travel long distances, and the world suddenly felt a lot smaller. People could go on holiday to faraway countries and visit family on the other side of the world. From the jet age onwards, aeroplanes just kept getting better. In 1969, the amazing Boeing 747, also known as the jumbo jet, took to the skies. It was enormous, with 2 floors, and could carry hundreds of passengers at once. A year later, the Concorde, a supersonic jet, began flying. It could fly faster than the speed of sound, crossing the ocean from London to New York in about 3 hours. Today, engineers are building planes that are quieter, safer, and use less fuel. The history of the aeroplane shows us how a simple idea can grow and change the world in just over 100 years. Have you ever wondered how a huge, heavy metal aeroplane can stay up in the air? It seems like magic, but it's actually science. There are 4 secret forces that are always at work on an aeroplane when it's flying. These forces are called lift, weight, thrust, and drag. To fly, a plane needs to balance these 4 forces perfectly. Let's look at them one by one. The first, and maybe the most important, is lift. Lift is the upward force that pushes the aeroplane into the sky, and it's created by the wings. The wings have a special curved shape on top and are flatter on the bottom. This clever shape is called an airfoil. As the aeroplane moves forward, the air has to travel further and faster over the curved top of the wing than it does underneath. This difference in speed creates a change in air pressure. The pressure of the air below the wing becomes higher than the pressure above it. This higher pressure underneath pushes the wing, and the whole aeroplane upwards. It's like a giant invisible hand lifting the plane into the air. So, the faster an aeroplane goes, the more lift its wings create. That's why planes have to speed down a long runway before they can take off. The second force is an easy one to understand. It's called weight. Weight is simply the force of gravity pulling the aeroplane down towards the center of the Earth. Everything has weight, from you and me to a gigantic jumbo jet. For an aeroplane to get off the ground and stay in the air, the force of lift must be stronger than the force of weight. That's the main battle of flying: lift pushing up versus weight pulling down. Engineers try to build aeroplanes to be as strong and as light as possible to make it easier for lift to win the battle. The third force is called thrust. Thrust is the pushing or pulling force that moves the aeroplane forward. It's created by the engines. Propeller planes use their spinning blades to pull the plane through the air, a bit like a fan. Jet planes create thrust in a different way. Their engines suck in air at the front, mix it with fuel, and set it on fire. This creates a powerful blast of hot gas that shoots out of the back, pushing the plane forward. For a plane to fly, thrust must be powerful enough to overcome the last force, which is called drag. Aeroplanes are much more than just a way to get from one place to another. They are incredibly important for our whole world. One of the biggest reasons is that they make our planet feel smaller by connecting people. Thanks to aeroplanes, you can have breakfast in London and dinner in New York on the same day. This fast travel means we can visit family and friends who live in different countries, explore new cultures on holiday, and learn about faraway places by actually going there. Before planes, a trip across the ocean would take weeks on a boat. Now, it takes just a few hours. This helps people feel closer, no matter how far apart they live. Aeroplanes are also super important for business and trade. They carry important documents, packages, and goods all over the globe at high speed. This is called air cargo. Fresh flowers grown in Africa can be in a shop in Europe the very next day, and special medicines made in one country can be flown quickly to another to help sick people. This global network of flying cargo helps businesses grow and ensures we can get the things we need when we need them. Without planes, it would be much harder and slower to share products and resources between countries, and many of the things we buy in shops wouldn't be available. Aeroplanes are also heroes in times of emergency. When a natural disaster like an earthquake or a flood happens, aeroplanes and helicopters are often the first to arrive with help. They can fly over damaged roads and difficult landscapes to deliver food, water, blankets, and medicine to people who are trapped. Rescue teams can be flown in to help find and save people. Special hospital planes, sometimes called air ambulances, can fly very sick or injured people to hospitals that can give them the special care they need. In these situations, the speed of an aeroplane can be the difference between life and death. There are so many other special jobs that only aeroplanes can do. Scientists use specially equipped planes to study the weather, monitor pollution in our atmosphere, and map the Earth's surface. Firefighting planes can scoop up huge amounts of water from a lake and drop it on forest fires to help put them out. The military uses planes to keep countries safe. From passenger travel and cargo to rescue missions and scientific discovery, aeroplanes are one of the most useful and versatile inventions in the world. They are a powerful tool that helps us connect, trade, help, and explore our planet in amazing ways. The story of the aeroplane is far from over. Clever engineers and scientists are already dreaming up what the future of flying will look like, and it's very exciting. One of the biggest challenges is to make flying better for our planet. Today's aeroplanes use a lot of fuel, which can cause pollution. So, people are working on creating green aeroplanes. This includes designing new types of fuel, called sustainable aviation fuels, that are made from plants or waste instead of oil. Some are even experimenting with electric aeroplanes that use batteries. just like an electric car, for shorter trips. Imagine flying on a plane that is almost silent and creates zero pollution. Technology is also making flying smarter and safer. Future airplanes might have new, lightweight materials that make them stronger and more fuel efficient. Their wings might even be able to change shape during the flight to make them work better in different conditions, just like a bird's wing. Inside the cockpit, pilots will have even more advanced computers and displays to help them fly the plane and avoid bad weather. Some people are even talking about pilotless passenger planes one day, but don't worry, that is still a long, long way away. Safety is always the most important thing in aviation. We might also see brand new types of aircraft in our skies. Some companies are working on developing small electric air taxis that can take off and land vertically, like a helicopter. These could one day whisk people across big cities, flying above all the traffic jams on the roads below. There is also a lot of talk about bringing back supersonic travel, flying faster than the speed of sound, but this time with planes that are much quieter and more efficient than the old Concorde. It could mean that a flight across the world would take only a few hours. The possibilities are almost endless. So, the next time you see an aeroplane streaking across the sky, remember its amazing journey. From a simple dream inspired by birds, to the wooden Wright Flyer, to the jumbo jets of today, the aeroplane has completely changed our world. It connects us, helps us, and allows us to explore in ways people once thought were impossible. And the adventure is still going. With new ideas for green fuels, super smart technology, and new kinds of aircraft, the future of flying is set to be just as exciting as its incredible past. The sky is not the limit. It's just the beginning.